Yes, this is James. I am calling from Virginia as well. Shout out Fairfax County.
There you go. James from Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, I was just wanting to ask a question generally about hope. I'm being a Gen Zer and our generation having a substantially higher media literacy rate. And it's hard to have a positive worldview when you see all these things happening at a constant stream where it's like, okay, we do all the things that we're told to do and supposed to do, and it still ends up with a genocide in Palestine, a genocide in Sudan that's gone completely underreported. And actually, not to compare genocides, but
no, we need to have someone on about that. That's a good reminder for me.
Yeah, the scale is insane, and I'm like, I guess if you have a message for other people of generation, also post 9/11 as well. So there's a whole other thing where we're not understanding everything or we're not believing what's told to us, or the popular narrative. If you have just a message of hope, I guess, and
well, look,
and just yeah.
I mean, I will say that after Bush, there was a sense that it couldn't get worse than this, and there's a lot of optimism about Obama, and that wasn't enough. He, ran in a more progressive way, in my view, than he actually governed. And in many ways, we're in this position because of the failure to deliver on those promises. Then you have Trump, right? Trump 1.0. Biden comes in because Trump's so unpopular. Biden did some good things, but we should, Matt, I tweeted about this. Can we find that chart from Semler on
how poverty increased because Joe Manchin decided not to continue those funds?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is that Biden decoupled the infrastructure and Build Back Better, and then brought Republicans into certain negotiations, and it gave Manchin and Sinema the time to regroup and kill the expanded child tax credit. So let's look at this chart here from Semler, who everyone should follow on Substack. We look at how child poverty reduced. Can we see the axis at the bottom, please? Okay, so that's 2019 through 2024. You saw how poverty dipped in general. I think that's the general poverty one. What's the brown line, Matt?
Child poverty is the dotted line.
Okay.
And poverty rate generally is the solid line.
There you go. Child poverty was cut in half. Poverty fell by 3 percentage points with the expanded child tax credit and the pandemic checks. And then it rose all the way back up after 2021 and the expiration. And that is one of the many reasons that Donald Trump won. So in terms of a message of hope, I think it's going to be really hard to get worse than the situation right now. And the responsiveness of the Democratic base and normie Democrats about what they're looking for in a candidate is very different than either of those two times. And there's much more space for a truly game-changing candidate. We just have to be disciplined and not get distracted.
I would say, go ahead, Brennan.
Well, I just want to say, I'm not going to blow smoke up wherever, right? Things are bad, and we should be honest about that. But if you want a message of hope, I think there are two things you can look to. You can look at the people who are on the flotilla right now, and you can recognize that amongst people, we have heroes. There are people who are willing to put their lives on the line to sail into the imperial, the heart of the imperial project, and bring relief and show that international solidarity that is so missing from our organizing. And you can also look at the reaction from Western powers. It's impossible to imagine that the West would be responding to the genocide in Israel the way they have started to respond now if it wasn't for the pressure that the people of their countries internationally organizing, having protests, continuously having protests since the beginning has forced them to change their opinion. I think, as we move on in history, they will try to pretend as though like they just woke up to the genocide last week. Oh, they just finally found the right information. They finally found the right level of awareness, or like that's not what happened. We, the people, forced our countries around the world to change their position despite it not being what they wanted to do on like the situation in Gaza. And not enough has been done. We need to do a lot more. We need to still keep moving, but certainly where we are now when it comes to recognition, when it comes to sending warships to escort flotillas, it's unimaginable that we would have been in this place 14 or 10 years ago, right? And so you can look to that kind of pressure that we can exert, and that we can change things if we, are willing to like work together internationally. And that's, I think, the key thing, right? We would love if our politicians did the right thing without being forced, but at least the ones we have now will not. So until we can replace them, we just have to keep up the momentum, keep showing them that the people will not get out of the streets until like things are the way we need them to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. We're in a period of crisis right now. That includes the power structures of the entire world. Nobody believes the FBI about anything that they say. I mean, and I think it's important to notice that people will mobilize. Like, the American people have never had trouble mobilizing, as far as I'm concerned. They mobilized for George Floyd and the broader defund Black Lives Matter protests. They mobilized for Obama or Occupy. They mobilized for the World WTO protests. The problem is it doesn't get translated because both parties are absolutely corrupt. But the thing is like that. You can break through that. Like, we got civil rights out of a party that was hopelessly corrupted by Jim Crowite interests from the party that had them within the coalition, because that system doesn't work. And actually capitalism doesn't work either. Like, nobody thinks that free market capitalism can do what America needs it to do right now, which is why Trump is talking about tariffs and bailing out Argentina and stuff like that, because we're reaching a point like we did in the late 1920s, where capitalism, the structure that rules the world, is discrediting itself in front of everyone's eyes, which is why the Nazis couldn't call themselves the National Capitalists. They had to call themselves the National Socialists, because it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Kamala Harris earlier this weekend said she was upset that the titans of industry weren't speaking up for democracy. We're done with, like, this is stupid. Nobody buys this shit anymore, which is why, even though, like, we went to that socialism conference. I love DSA. Everyone should join DSA, but I don't think I could 100% say DSA has its shit entirely together. Yet they're still winning primaries for the largest city in the country's mayoral. You know why? Because that shit's right. Because the bus stuff, because the grocery stuff, that stuff's correct. It's not lies fed to us by an elite media that's run by rich people. And people aren't buying their shit anymore because their lives are fucked by them, because they know what rent costs, they know what a steak costs, per Laura Ingraham, and all this stuff about, capitalism and the rich people will save us. We've been hearing this for 15 years as the American dream has been flatlining in front of our faces. So, like, there's no illusions, and that's probably the most optimistic thing that we can say about the current moment.
Well, I appreciate that. And sorry for the listeners. I literally work right next to a river. It was not me mouth breathing. But even if it was, it's not any of their business.
You got to breathe.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We're okay with mouth breathers here, as long as you're on, you're mouth breathing for justice.
That's all I'm saying.
So let's have deviated septums.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I thank you for the message. Keep doing what y'all are doing. I have my own radio show, and I hope to just, do even half of the work that you all do. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Ryan from Rochester, I think Democratic leadership is trying to lay low and cross their fingers that Israel completes the genocide before the next major election. They hope they can pull off that the left and let Trump criminalize them and attack them, and then in 2 to 4 years step up and pretend they're the only not radical voice.
In terms of Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer, you are absolutely right. What it was said when Hakeem Jeffries in the lame duck period went to the West Coast to tell Silicon Valley guys, like, hey, can we work with us? He was also saying we need to keep up the pressure on Iran. Like, Bibi has his folks placed exactly where he wants them. Mm-hmm. And, this is why this has gotten so bad. it's because not only Trump, but also the Democratic leadership. So all these people saying like Kamala would be better. Would Schumer and Jeffries allow her to be?
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.